We need to be kinder to those who have quit, jumped off the carbs boat, the fucking steamliner, whatever it is. It's enormous, whatever it is, because, I mean, I'm even having mental symptoms. The despair is indescribable. The craving for the food that, I mean, I can't even imagine having drank up to this point and stopping drinking and carbs at the same time. I mean, just like, what? Dropping that drink was all practically nothing. The reason being is you will replace the alcohol with a different type of sugar. You'll do it. So it's easy. It's fucking simple. This is the hardest thing I've ever experienced. Quitting drinking has never been so hard. And I've quit drinking for years at a time, like, a couple hard days. You're like, it's done. Because you replace it instantly with something else. Without realizing it. You're like, oh, now I can have, I'll have toast, I'll have this, I'll have that. It's hellish. My face is, again, just like falling the fuck off. The one thing that I've got going for me, as I freaking cried this morning because I couldn't even find my stinging nettles, which I have 2 brand new bottles of. Both of them are gone. I have 500 bottles of shit. Those 2 things on the counter. No, they're not there now. I don't know why. So I found some propolis and I took that for the allergies because I'm going, well, I could take Benadryl. I could take Motrin. I'm saying to myself, if I'm going to jump, I'm going to jump. I'm already in extreme detox. Too much Herxheimer. And so I'm just trying to smooth through this, right? So I went ahead and took the propolis. My arm is horrible. The searing pain. I'm like, okay, well, icing it and everything. This is why people can't make it off of carbs and out of their situation, because the withdrawal is so severe. And the pain can be so, and the heaviness of your body and all these things can be so severe. You can't go to work, say, for instance. I don't have to go to a full-time job. I don't have to go to a part-time job. The luxury that I have of being able to let this happen to myself without having to drive down the road and go to a job and put up with the public or whatever. I have a shot. I have a shot at this, at coming off the carbs 100%. I have a shot. Am I going to do it? I don't know. I think I am. I don't trust that I have the strength to do it. No, not really. But I don't really feel like I have a choice if there's things I want. And so this morning what I did, while I was in complete despair about how I feel, I physically feel absolutely, I mean, I guess I felt worse than this, but the facts of the matter are, I wouldn't have any problem just picking up a drink or whatever, or taking some weed and getting on with my day. And it sets it back. I don't know how. I do not know how this is working, but the one thing that's holding me together is the fact that my upper lungs are completely clear. The wheezing that I could hear, the whistling that I could hear when I would take a breath in, had been there for 10 years or more, is gone. That's all I got to hold on to. And the sinus thing, it is continuously trying to build, but it is not a solid thing covering that membrane anymore that you can smell things and it's related to your taste. It's attached to your taste buds. I've got these 2 things going for me that I can see were 100% positive. I'm having bowel distress, diarrhea. I mean, my body said, it always fast tracks. Whenever time I do something right, it's just like it's in a fucking hurry, I guess, because it realizes if we don't hurry, she's gonna start fucking up again. I don't know. I'm just saying this is extremely miserable. And I thought, God, I've read where I've seen people talking about taking their children off of carbs, like autistic children and things, and they say they will melt down, they will flip the fork out like a heroin addict, like screaming and begging, like screaming, like freaking losing their minds for bread, grains, sugar. It's infuriating that they've done this to us, that they've told us that this is food. It's not. Anyway, so I had eggs. I had 3 eggs, a little bit of bacon, and I took 2 Boswellia, 2 800 milligram Boswellia for the pain in my shoulder. I need to see my chiropractor so he can whoosh it back in, but I don't know when I'm going to get an appointment with him. I was going to break down and take Motrin. I told Lenny even I was going to do it, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do ice. I'm going to be my own best friend. What would I tell my friend? What would I tell Beth if I was like, no, do this, do this? I'd be putting ice on her. I'd be doing... When we grow up in a situation where we wind up with C-PTSD, some people call it childhood post-traumatic stress disorder. Some people call it complex. The complexity of it is that as you're developing as a small child, everything you say and do, you're an idiot. Everything, it's wrong. You're dumb. You're stupid. Or what you do angers your parent. And so what you do is, instead of developing a personality, you develop coping mechanisms or strategies of how to talk to them or whatever, how to act around them, that become your pseudo-personality, because that was 18, 20 years of your life. Like the whole time. And you don't think you have any worth. You might not realize you're thinking it, but you're not thinking it. It's just, it's embedded in you that you don't have, you're nothing. In fact, everybody else is more important than you, so why would I ice my own shoulders? No, I'll just take a Motrin. Oh, I'll just have a beer. Oh, I'll just take a piece of Percocet. Oh, I'll smoke some weed. Got you through, didn't it, Karen? Sure, got me through a lot of shit. But when you try to detox your body from the fake food, get ready for hell on earth. And there's lots of people that tell about it. Lots. And I've listened to them for a few years, and I'm like, when can I jump? When can I jump? Then I've got Lenny. He wants to have his drink, his tea that he has, his little flavored vodka, and a little flavored rum, I'm sorry. It's just, it's artificial, fruit flavored. I call it tastes like a bowl of sugar. If I taste a drop of that, rum hits the table, and I'm like, ugh, I didn't even like it when I was a drinker. So, you know, and cheese, dairy. And I don't think dairy products are bad for human beings. I think that the ones that they sell out of the grocery store are. We should be eating only raw dairy products, which is completely illegal. Oh, I wonder how that happened. Now, Karen, you know we can't mass produce raw dairy. He never said so. Never said that somebody needed to. So my sister-in-law was like, oh, well, yeah, she's a family practitioner. She's a doctor. She's a family, what was it called? I don't know. She was the from birth to death doctor, she said. She's delivered babies. She was fabulous. She was super cool, but didn't get that part. We need raw dairy. And the weird part is that she grew up on a cattle farm, like a, what do you call it? Anyway, I can't remember the name of it because my head, it's absolute misery. I'm not here for empathy, sympathy, or like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Oh. No, please, do not feel sorry for me. Just observe and learn something possibly and say, go girl. Look at the trenches of the misery that have formed on my face from unexpressed emotions that I was not allowed to express, emotions that I thought I were not entitled to, and you eat them. You eat them. You eat them with pizza, cake, cookies, candy, carbs, bread, muffins. I mean, you eat them. You eat your pain. You don't even know it. And then you're filled with these yeasts that just keep on calling out for you to eat them. Eat them, eat them, eat them. And you do. And you're just like everyone else. There's nothing wrong with us. We're eating a balanced diet. But yet, you know, by the time you're 40, you're on how many prescription medications, and you freaking go to the doctor once a month or twice a month. The doctors, when they talk to me, they lose their fucking minds when they find out I don't have any prescriptions. You don't take prescriptions? What are your prescriptions? Why aren't you on medication? I've literally been asked with that tone why I'm not on medication. Well, let me tell you why. Because you people treat us like absolute dog shit. Because you run around arm ticketing everybody and they're dropping dead like fucking flies. Because you let me have, doctors, you let me have 3 miscarriages in a row and laughed in my face, and one doctor told me there was 2 miscarriages in a row were the same miscarriage. 9 weeks apart? You fucking moron. When? The one prior to that, I had blood tests, reading my HCG serum to, count 'em, 0. Stupid motherfucker. I swear to you this happened to me in Germany. Where I went to a library and pulled a book out that said Preventing Miscarriage, and they said, women are broken, they're intrinsically broken. Their corpus luteum just doesn't produce enough progesterone, and the baby just dies because women are just broken. No, they're not. Foreign estrogen has been entering into this equation, overshadowing the progesterone that the corpus luteum is making. Therefore, you miscarry. The miscarriage rate was so high in Germany when I was there. They would not see you if you were pregnant until you got to your 2nd trimester because the miscarriage rate was so high it was a waste of time for them to see us. How about them apples? You're lying, Karen. No, I'm not. A couple of years after I left Germany, maybe not a couple, maybe more than a couple, I found out that Germany decided to ban the use of hormones in their meats. I wonder why that happened. Maybe because the birth rate declined so rapidly because nobody could carry a baby? Because men got breast cancer and dicks fell off and women turned into men and what? Okay. They must have been really pumping their meat up, full of hormones. My first baby I had in the United States, and then I went over there and miscarry. Then when I got back, and then the stress and did it, and I still didn't get any better, kept on eating processed food and junk, and I had another miscarriage. Then I found natural progesterone cream online, put it on. It was an utter miracle. Was on it for about a year. Got pregnant with my son, and I knew I would carry him with no problems, and I did. I used the cream the whole time. I withdrew the cream at 36 weeks and said, I'll have this baby in 14 days. Because I knew how my body responded to my hormones and all the, and I did, had him 14 days later. He was 2 weeks early. Now, had I known that probably wasn't even the best idea, I probably would have used it for another week and a half. I tried to get up to 39 weeks. But, you know, he came out. He was 6.5. He was 6.5. Ate like a horse. Came out, was strong. He was a little skinny, but because he was 2 weeks early. That last couple weeks, they put their fat on. And he immediately plumped up. He was hungry. He was strong. He had no problem. He came out and latched right on. I had no problem with, nursing him because I had nursed 2 children before that. I didn't have any soreness, nothing. He just popped right on there. I grabbed that baby. I was home before the 24 hours was up, and they were supposed to keep me for 24 hours. I got the hell out of there. They're like, yeah, you can go home. Because they could see that I had 2 live children with all their fingers and toes and heads that looked reasonably well. And they said, get out of here. You're good. You're good. They sent me home at like 22 hours after I gave birth. And he was a little yellow. He was a little jaundiced. So I took I just put him in a diaper in the sunlight, nursed him often, and he pulled right out of it. It was fine. This is difficult. This is very difficult. Sorry about that. It's like I'm still dealing with the sinuses are still trying to. See, I know when I look, I can see certain lights with the digital camera. You can really see it. This is yeast. The redness. This is yeast overload in the body. I don't know how bad it is. It's not so bad that it's falling out of my female parts anymore. It used to be like a constant bladder infection. It was all yeast because, of course, they pumped me up full of antibiotics as a teenager with all my bladder infections because you have bacteria in your bladder. It was yeast. I don't know what kind of cultures you were doing, but maybe there was initially, but now it's yeast. And when I found out how to kill that off, I've never had urinary problems. Very rarely. Once in a great while, I'll have a little bit of, felt weird when I peed, And then I will just immediately just back off of sugars. And I forget what I used to do. It's been so long now, I don't even care about it. Pop a cranberry or uva ursi or something for day or two, and boom, it's gone. I don't have to think about it anymore. It's been years since I've had a bladder problem. Hallelujah. But then, as you've all heard, my kidneys hurt. My kidneys also open the kidneys. So, but they don't hurt now. They stopped hurting when I dropped that tea about 2 weeks ago. The cold tea. The cold tea. At Jazz's, not Jazz, what the, Jade. I don't know what I said Jazz for. Jade Rains is at her behest. She's like, Karen, the cold tea. I'm like, I forgot. Yeah, I gotta stop. So thank you, Jade. And I've been forgetting to use my iodine because I had been putting it in my coffee, which I stopped yesterday. So for 2 days. But my hot flashes have severely reduced. Now explain that to me. So if I'm hurting myself, I mean, I did. I herxed too much. I mean, I took too much ozone and I herxed. But from the first time I did ozone, my hot flashes reduced so dramatically and have stayed that way. Then I had I think it's allergies coming in, the hay fever. So then the lungs got really funky. I think I was, my body started herxheimering, and I thought I was smoking a little bit of weed. And I can't. It's just like, this will be a good time to quit. So I put that down. That was when? Sunday? It's Friday now. I don't care about that anymore. I couldn't give two shits about smoking anymore. So that's cool. The only thing I'm craving, which is the only thing, is about 100 things to stick in my mouth that contains some type of carb. Something. So it's the wheat. It's demon wheat. It's not grandpa's wheat. It's not great grandpa's wheat. I think they altered that sometime in the 50s. I'm not even saying it was ever like great to eat or anything, but a little bit of bread in your life from natural, un-GMO'd wheat probably wasn't the end of the world, for your body. But boy, they've changed the bread, and they've changed the bread from when I was a kid. It is just disgusting now. The store-bought, I'm like, I can't. I told Lenny about a month ago, I can't even. Not that I was even consuming that much of it, because it was so yucky. I mean, like, man, I had a grilled cheese once in a while, like a grilled cheeseburger once in a while. Grill that bread, put the cheese on it. And I was like, I can't do that anymore. So I found that little bread maker. I ate a loaf of that shit and screwed myself up, but I got some organic bread flour. And and you look at this stuff, and it's like cement. How does our body digest this? It doesn't. It doesn't. And then you say it can't. And then you get the seeded whole wheat and whole this and seeded bread. Man, you are literally poking frickin' holes all the way through your intestine. Then you got the leaky gut syndrome. Then you got everything under the sun wrong with you, autoimmune diseases and all this kind of, and the doctors are just like, oh. I mean, they're fat and unhealthy and pale and on all kind of drugs. It's like, and you're supposed to help me? I'm not on any drugs. I'm doing far better than all of y'all, even though I've got all my problems. But I can still out whatever I'm having abused myself, pretty steadily for several decades because I didn't understand that I was I was somebody. Back to the CPTSD. I was somebody. But who am I? I don't know. I'm trying to find out who I am. So I just wanted to encourage people that try to quit carbs, but then it's the hellacious backlash that you get from it is so severe. Excuse me. I want to encourage you to keep trying. Keep going. It's a lie. It's the parasites in you telling you to eat it. It's not you. People are like, eat what you crave because, that's what you need. Well, I crave a bottle of wine and a big chocolate cake. Do you think that that's what I should eat and drink? That's not necessarily true. Your body craves real food, but the things that are telling you to eat this trash, that's not you. That's your parasites. That's the yeast, that's the fungus, it's the bacteria, it's whatever's going on inside of you. You might even have worms. I don't know. So, yeah, let's take it easy on each other. And don't encourage people to eat whatever they want when they're trying to stop beating themselves to death with carbs. Got this good friend. She's like, okay, variety is the spice of life, and we should be enjoying all the food groups because you only live once. I understand what you're saying. were it true, it's not. So it's meat, eggs, fish. I'm going to ask this doctor to muscle test me. I might even have to come off of butter and go to ghee, because that takes the milk proteins out of the milk fat. I think I'm really reacting poorly to the processed dairy. With the phlegm, with the whole infectionness, and it's likely, it's causing a lot of phlegm production, which we need phlegm to protect our bowels and all that. But I think excess, to where it's coming up in the, to protect my tissues from this milk protein that it does not want near it. So your body will put mucus between you and the shit you're eating that it finds to be toxic to itself. In case you were wondering about all that excess mucus in your head and in your chest and all. That's my take on it anyway, and going this way. So it was tough. It was tough this morning. It's breaking down. I possibly have a Nature Sunshine mood elevator in the closet in there. I'm going to go look. And I'm going to take it because my mood is drastically low. It is extremely low. It's very low. All right. That's all I got to say about it. Good luck to everybody that's trying to break the chains of this. And most people be like, what's the big deal? Eat a sandwich. They don't know. Then why do they look like, why do they look like a pineapple sitting on top of sticks when they're a woman? Why aren't you shaped like an hourglass? Like, why are the men not V-shaped? Why are they? Because of this food. Because of these habits that have been so ingrained for decades now, that have been normalized, and then they got you running to the gym, trying to exercise it and get your shape back of your natural body, what it should look like. You're missing it. You're like, phew. And because you don't want to see it. I didn't want to see it. I still don't want to see it. I don't want to do this. I have to do it. I don't want to do it. Good luck, everybody. Let's have a great day, YouTube.